Hey guys, this is Ryan with True Life Canine. So I'm going to show you guys how you can teach your dog the place command. So I've got Nolly here, and I'm going to be working with her. And I do have her on a prong collar, so I do have to use the prong collar when I teach the place command and other obedience commands. You might not necessarily have to use the prong collar for this, but I will say that it does help communicate to the dog more clearly and effectively, and I feel like it helps the dog learn more quickly than if you were to just use a regular collar. So anyways, I'm going to start working with her. I'm going to show you exactly what I do to start teaching the dog this command. Let's go. So first thing I want to do is I just want to walk up to it, and I'm going to stop. Oh, and also, make sure you introduce your dog to the prong collar beforehand, and I have a video about how to actually do that. I also have a video about how to size the prong collar and fit it on correctly. So make sure you do all that stuff as well. So anyways, I want to stop before I get to the bed or the place, and then once she's kind of stopped here, I'm just going to say place and guide her on, just like this. Place. Good. So notice how I guide her with my body. So I said place, and I walked towards the mat, and I kind of stopped right here, right in front of it. And as soon as she got all four paws on the mat, I said good. And so now we can just use a release word, which I'm going to use let's go. You could use okay, break, free, but typically I like to use let's go. Let's go. So again, I'm going to walk up to it. Just a little bit of pressure to keep her from going on. So I like to just have the dog just kind of wait right here first, because I feel like it, at least in these initial stages, I feel like it helps the dog kind of learn more easily. And we stop right here because we're teaching the dog, like there's a boundary here, and it helps her kind of see, like learn this more clearly. And she's like, okay, this is an actual boundary. This is the place. So I have to stop right here. So place. Good. So just like that. So she has worked on place a little bit before, so she already kind of has a good understanding of this. So that's why she's doing this really quickly and just, automatically laying down. Let's go. Walk up. So a little pressure, just like that. Place. Good. So again, it's important that you use the marker word. So I like to use good. You can use yes if you want. But the marker word just helps the dog learn that, she did something right. She did what you wanted her to do. And it helps speed up the learning process and makes things more clear to the dog. So whenever you do something, or whenever you ask something of the dog and the dog does it, use your marker word, and that'll help the dog be like, oh, okay, that means I just did the right thing, so I just have to keep doing that. So it's really, it helps the dog learn more quickly. Let's go. That was a weird one. Let me redo that. Let's go. So walk up to it. Place. Good. Just like that. Let's go. A little bit of pressure. Place. Good. Let's go. So just a little bit of leash pressure whenever I say let's go. Place. Good. So she's doing this. She's doing pretty well with this. So I'm just going to keep working her and get her kind of in the groove here. Let's go. Place. Good. Very good. So you see she's got this, pretty good. So I'm going to start kind of speeding up the process and kind of challenging her a little bit more with this. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. And also, one thing that's important to point out here is that I approach the mat from different directions. I don't just go from this side. You want to teach place from different directions, because if you just do one side, then the dog always learns that place means go to your place from right there. So it's, whenever you ask the dog to go to place at a different angle, the dog's going to be confused. So work on doing that from approaching at different angles. Let's go. So right here, what I'm about to do is I'm going to say place. I'm going to walk her towards it, but then I'm going to kind of walk past a little bit to challenge her a little bit more. So dogs will follow your body language, and I want her to learn that just because I walk past, it doesn't necessarily mean she can come with me. She has to stay on place even if I move away. So it helps the dog learn, okay, place means I got to go here, and eventually the dog starts to learn that they have to stay in place even if there's people walking around, distractions and all that. So you start small, and this is how you start building up that understanding for the dog. Place. Good. So just like that. I'm still using my marker word, good. But notice that time I walked past it, and she stayed right there. Let's go. I'll do the same thing. And now that she's kind of in the groove, I'm not gonna stop right here. She's really kind of understanding this, so I'm just going to move along a little bit more quickly and kind of keep getting her in the groove, but I'm going to keep on challenging her and kind of adding new things. But I'm not going to stop right here now. Place. Good. Very good. Let's go. Place. Good. So she's definitely understanding it, so that's really good. Now, if I had a dog that's really pushy and bratty, really demanding, then I would probably still be stopping every time I come here, because I want that dog to be looking to me for guidance instead of being on autopilot. And I would be stopping here every time, and what I would do is I would stop, and if the dog continued to move on the mat, I would give a little bit of a pop. Keep the dog from going on, and that's just so you can teach the dog, look, you gotta wait. You gotta be calm and wait for my permission to go on. Let's go. Place. Good. Very good. Sorry about the phone. And so you can start kind of like walking around and teaching the dog just to stay there even though things are going on around her. So I can pick up the leash and pretend like I'm walking away, and that doesn't mean the dog can come with me. Let's go. Place. Good. So she's a little bit kind of on the corner with her feet off, but that's all right for right now. Let's go. Place. Good. Again, I'm still using that marker word. So now what I'm doing is I'm walking past and I'm dropping the leash. So, again, she's already kind of got this down pretty well, but when you're first starting this, you're going to notice that your dog might not stay on there just like she does. And that's all right, because your dog's new to it. So what you're going to do is, when your dog kind of walks off, you're just going to use a little bit of pressure to guide your dog back. You can just say the word no if you want to. So like if I walked on and said place, and she just kind of kept going, I could just say no, and just kind of guide her back. Now, once the dog starts understanding it more, and really knows what you're asking for, then you can start holding the dog a little bit more accountable, and you can actually give a little bit of a pop for coming off of place, because we want there to be an incentive for the dog to actually stay there. So eventually the dog is going to make a mistake and kind of get that little pop, and the dog's going to be like, okay, so it's a little bit uncomfortable when I walk off, so I'm just going to stay here because that's what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. Let's go. Place. Good. And if she were to just like walk off right now, I wouldn't really give her like a pop correction. All I would do is I would give her a verbal no, and then I'd probably just guide her back on with the leash. But then after we've really started on proofing this, then I'm going to expect a little bit more from her. And at some point, you're going to need to give your dog a correction for deciding to come off. Alright guys, so we got Nolly right here in place, and we got some people over, and we also got Sonic right there. So Nolly's doing a good job with this. So that's exactly what we're looking for. Alright guys, so I'm done working with Nolly for now. So I just wanted to mention a few more things just before I end this video. So one is make sure you take your time with your dog when you're working on this. It's new for your dog, and all dogs take a little bit of time to learn everything. Some dogs quicker, slower than others. But when you're working with your dog, and again realize that Nolly has already had a little bit of background training on place. Not too much, but she already kind of has an understanding of it, so you saw her kind of move through that pretty quickly. So expect your dog to make some mistakes when you start working on this, and that's alright. Take your time, don't get frustrated, and slowly start to add more distractions, add more time that she's on place. Don't just expect her to stay on there, your dog to stay on there for an hour. After 5 minutes of teaching the command, and don't expect your dog to stay on there when you have people over and doing all this whenever it's your first time doing this. So slowly add distractions and all that, and then once your dog starts to really understand the command and you've taught everything fairly and gently, then you can start holding your dog more accountable and actually giving your dog a correction for walking off of place. So if you've taught your dog everything fairly, then it's okay to say no and actually give a correction with the leash. So if your dog comes off place, just say no, walk up to the leash, and if your dog's in the newer stages of learning, you can just grab the leash and just kind of guide the dog back. If you've taught everything and the dog knows what to do but chose anyways to come off, then say no, walk up and grab the leash, give a quick correction with the leash, and then guide the dog back. So probably the biggest issue I see owners have with this command is they've taught the command, the dog understands it, but they say that the dog still comes off of place. And the reason for that is because the owners aren't giving a meaningful correction, so the dog doesn't have any kind of incentive to stay on place. So those are a few things to keep in mind. So teach everything fairly, slowly add more distractions, and then when you know that your dog really understands things, then it's time to hold the dog more accountable and to give the dog a correction for coming off, because if you don't, your dog's just going to continue to come off because your dog's going to be like, well, I came off last time and they didn't really do much, or they just brought me back. So that's a really important component when it comes to training. So anyways, just wanted to mention those few things, and that's it. So thanks for watching.